Hey guys, it's Doc back. So I've had a chance to read most of my comics. I'm going to talk about the first one that I have not had a chance to read, and then I'll go back and do a review on it, more lengthy review on it later on. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. Alright guys, so this is Or, which is a Starhenge graphic novella by Liam Sharp. It came from Image Comics, and it is a tale within the world of Starhenge. Starhenge was a 6-issue miniseries that Liam Sharp did. I think it took about a year to come out, but the artwork on it was really amazing, and it was a sci-fi, like a hard sci-fi miniseries. So I've got a lot of kudos for Image Comics for releasing something like this. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to really dig into this. That looks like it's going to be rather heady, so give me a little while and I'll pop a review up on it. All right, speaking of heady, next is The Power Fantasy, Issue 1 by Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard as the artist. So this tells a story in which there are a superpowered family, okay, of brothers and sisters, and each of them have different personalities. One of them is Lux. That's one of the first characters that we meet in 1966, and he and one of the other family members are having a slice of pizza and talking about really deep, really philosophical things. And so it seems like she has intentions of harming Lux, but at the same time, he's trying to get his mic on her. And sometimes it seems to work, and sometimes it seems like she's going to kill him. But then you cut to the present day, and this artwork is very fantastical at times. As you can see, you've got a picture of the world, you've got a satellite in the stars, and at the same time, then you've got this lady here who is interviewing Lux in 1999. Meanwhile, you've got one of the other supers, Masumi, and she's apparently a painter. So you've got all of these different superpowered beings, and they kind of keep each other in check. And so Heavy, who is one of the protectors of the family, actually the protector of the family, got assaulted and almost killed by a laser when he came floating over one of the cities in Texas. And they didn't kill him, but he's looking for revenge. So Lux has to calm him down and maybe take some other people out in the process. But what this book is, it's called The Power Fantasy, and it really is about that. It's about how people who I think that had godlike powers would actually exist, how they would actually coexist with human beings. They would talk about and eat the same kind of foods that we ate, and they would immerse themselves in this world, the pleasures of this world. But at the same time, they would never forget that they were above everyone else. And there would always be one or two bad eggs that the rest of the family would have to keep in check. So it's just like that. But I don't know if this is a mini, I don't know if it's an ongoing, but it really struck something within me, because as I was reading it this morning, it was the one book I flipped through this morning, but I actually went back and reread it again. And it's different than The Ambassadors from Mark Miller. Mark Miller's Ambassadors had a benefactor who would only give powers to a certain amount of people, but this is different. This is kind of like Miracle Man in a way, where you have overlords who are protecting you, but at the same time they're protecting their own interests. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Hopefully it's only a miniseries. I did not intend on really picking up another book I've been trying to drop things off of my read list, but I've got a surprise as far as this book goes, and I'm not going to spoil that surprise just yet, but let's just say that I'm going to talk about this in greater length as well. Okay, next up, Spider-Man Reign 2, Issue 2, by Carrie Andrews, with colors by Brian Reber and letters by Joe Caramagna. And I heard a lot of negative things about this book, and a lot of people saying it's been 20 years or so, almost 20 years, I think, since the first book came out. I think it was 2006. And that was Carrie Andrews' take on Dark Knight for Spider-Man. This has got a totally different feel. The art's the same. The Kingpin looks the same. The Kingpin in the first issue looked very Frank Miller-ish, almost Sin City-like. But the story is that the current-day Peter Parker, who has the giant beard there, lives inside the web. And the web is controlled by Fisk and controlled by, the former Kingpin. Well, the web is starting to fail. And so Fisk has come out and has told everybody, I can't offer you immortality, but I can offer you digital immortality. Well, Peter Parker is not opposed to that because he goes to live in that world with Mary Jane, whom he lost in the first series due to radioactive poisoning. So he gets hooked up with the Green Goblin and a black cat knockoff here called Kitty Cat. And they get sent back into the past. Well, in this issue, when they arrive in the past, Peter Parker's only thought is to find Mary Jane and to save her. And then he comes to find out that she's alive in this reality and in this time, but she is something totally different than what he expected. So I'm not going to ruin that, but it's funny. Carrie Andrews has got his own unique art style, but at the same time, some things that he does, art-wise, are very much in tune with Todd McFarlane. The detail and the way that it's drawn is very similar to the way that I think McFarlane would lay panels out or pages out. He visits his old buddy JJJ, and Robbie shows up. See, look at the detail there. McFarlane, it's not, but McFarlane-esque, it is. So it's interesting to see how this Peter Parker's storyline is going to play out. And I've heard a lot of negatives about this, that people said this is the Spider-Man book that nobody really wanted. But to me, Carrie Andrews has come out swinging. He's come out with a lot of energy and a lot of style. And to me, it's something that Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man or otherwise, is sorely lacking. I don't know about this beard coming out of the bottom of the mask. That's kind of weird. But at the same time, it's a really cool series and a really cool take. And if I had to choose, sorry Frank, between The Dark Knight Strikes Again and Spider-Man Reign 2, I'm going to have to go with Spider-Man Reign 2 thus far. All right. And the last book that I picked up today was The Walking Dead Deluxe, issue 94, A Larger World, part 2 of 4. Last issue we were introduced to the character of Jesus. Rick didn't trust him. Jesus was saying, we have a place at the hilltop. You are more than welcome to come. We have a community there. We're trying to build, community with other communities. And we're trying to build something bigger, a larger world, if you will. And Rick didn't believe him, didn't trust him, knocked him out, tied him up, kept him in a chair. And Carl ends up going to talk to him. And they said, you know what, we're going to take this guy to where he's going. Hopefully he won't be what he says he's not. And Carl sneaks into the van and hitches a ride. Meanwhile, Jesus is showing off his pretty spectacular abilities with karate to protect not only himself but others around him. And so Rick kind of realizes that maybe he was wrong. And this, knowing where this is going, this is building up to a really big issue 100. But for right now, we're going to get introduced to the Hilltop. So if you never read the series, I would say pick it up. It is definitely extremely strong all the way through issue, I would say, 105, 106. And then once the character that gets introduced in issue 100 comes and does his thing, it kind of gets a little watered down for the last half of the series. Because it's almost like Kirkman gets preoccupied with that one character and makes him the overarching end-all, be-all of everything of The Walking Dead. Even more so than Rick to some people who read this book. So, anyway, guys, that is what I read. That is what I picked up. What did you guys read this week? What did you pick up? Did you try the Power Fantasy? Did you give that a shot from Image? Did you pick up Or? You know, I don't know very many people that read Or. Like I said, it was almost like a hard sci-fi book. And what I mean by hard sci-fi is some of the old Tor books and things like that you would pick up on the shelves. Prose novels, Ben Bova maybe. So there was a lot of that going on in that book. And like I said, there were a few pauses. I don't remember that book coming out monthly. And so I need to go back and reread that so that I have a better understanding of what I'm reading with Or. But anyway, guys, if you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. I love bringing you guys this content. I've got some new things coming up in the pipeline. So just keep your ears to the ground, keep your eyes open, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great night, guys. Catch you later.